All right, rough drafts time. We are playing some Vintage Masters, which is a super sweet draft format. Power 9, really powerful. It is the only master set that has never been, well, not the only, but basically the only master set that has never been printed in paper. There was like a Tempest remastered, but this format's pretty exciting, really unique. So let's see what we have to deal with in this pack. So rare wise, no Power 9 yet. Next pack we're getting it. Edric's by Master of Trust. It's powerful. I don't know if it's exactly where we want to be. So a couple of the decks that stand out in this format. We have Factor Fiction. Just blue cards are very good. Madness is very good in this format. Aquamoeba is a good enabler for Madness. Just discard for free, play your Madness stuff. Death Grasp is an okay finisher in a control deck. The Battle Screech deck is actually pretty good. Cast it, tap creatures, flash it back, kind of like a Lingering Souls. Renewed Faith is a part of the cycling deck, as is Solar Blast if we find Astral Slides and whatnot. I think I'm just going to take... let's take Battle Screech. That might be completely wrong. I think the Battle Screech deck is actually pretty good, though. And lucky for us, we follow that up with Battle Screech number 2. So the Battle Screech deck, and if we had taken Factor Fiction, which was the other pick, our options would be much more limited. Random cycling cards. Rice of Initiation could be a card we're looking at. We could end up Boros. So this deck, we basically want aggressive white creatures, ways to protect them, like Benevolent Bodyguard is in Vintage Masters, and Battle Screeches. And just make tokens, kill our opponent is kind of like a mono white tokens deck or white splash tokens deck. So we're definitely just taking Battle Screech number 2. We definitely don't mind having more Battle Screeches. So this is not a broken deck in the sense where you see someone storming off or doing something ridiculous like that. We're not that kind of deck. That's not what Battle Screech White Weenie does, but it is a very consistent deck, and it's reasonable. It's reasonable. And it's pretty fun. Battle Screech is pretty powerful. There's some good early drop shadow creatures and whatnot. Jeez. Alright, I guess we keep taking Battle Screeches. We will just keep going. Another Solar Blast. We haven't seen any of the cycling payoffs. We'll probably pick up a random removal spell at some point, like Afterlife, but we're just going to stick to the plan. The other nice thing about taking 3 Battle Screeches in a row to start the draft is less likely anyone else finds them or moves into this archetype, so that's good news. We are going to want to make sure we have early white creatures, basically, because to flash back Battle Screech, so we get 2 tokens... 1/1 white birds with flying for casting it. Then if we can tap 3 white creatures, so we need the 2 Battle Screech tokens and 1 additional token, we can flash it back for free. So as long as we have some creatures sitting around, it's kind of like a cheaper Lingering Souls in some ways. You got to pay more up front. You can't make the tokens on 3 and then pay later, but you can cast them all in the same turn, which is nice. This pack... there is, like, beatdown decks that would use Gaia's Embrace. Dark Hatchling is more for slower decks. Brilliant Halo is kind of filler. Deep Analysis, really strong. I like drawing cards. I don't think we're going to stray from our white cards here, though. I think we're going to try to cut white hard. Kindle is fine, especially if you get a bunch of them. Gets better for each one in the graveyard. Scrivener, mostly a storm or control card. But we do have a good white card, or a fine white card. Solitary Emissary. Unblockable for 1 mana thanks to Shadow, so it's fine. And not having Shadow is actually kind of nice. Not literally having Shadow, because Shadow makes it so you can't block things. So the ability to block sometimes when we need it to is nice. Probably just going to take Phantom Nomad. Basking Urala is really good in the Madness deck. One of the key cards of Madness. Goblin Matron, very good if you're Goblins. One of the key cards of Goblins. Gush. Really good Storm card. Exile's only, like, moderate. Phantom Nomad, another 2-drop, on curve, doing what we want to do, so we're just going to take it. I don't know if we're going to splash or not. We could splash, we could not splash. Rites of Initiation is a card we'd consider splashing for, because it's such a good way to close out the game with Battle Screech. But we do want most of our creatures to be white creatures for our Battle Screeches. Benevolent Bodyguard is a good pickup. So Benevolent Bodyguard, white creature, comes down on turn 1, also can sack it to give a creature protection from a color, so it's kind of like a shelter on a body. We could play a Shelter as well. Familiar's pretty much only good in Storm. Owl Familiar, not good in really much of anything. Reckless Charge can be strong. I don't think Simian Grunts is that good. Nothing that's going to make us stray from our White Weenie plan at this point. Now things are a little tricky. So Tyrant's Choice is just 4 damage to an opponent because of how the voting works out. So 4 damage for 2 mana is not bad. It would require splashing. We could just take another white card. Deathblade Elite gets better if we have ways to pump it, like that Gaia's Embrace or whatnot. Famine is a card that can wreck us, but we're playing a league, so it's not like we're going to run into these decks or cards necessarily. I think we just stay on the cut white plan for now. Ooh, alright, well, we can take another Bodyguard. I don't know if we'll actually play Bodyguard. Waterfront Bouncer is very strong. I like Waterfront Bouncer. We'll take the foil Benevolent Bodyguard. So far, I like how this deck is shaping up. 3 Battle Screeches is pretty awesome. Now we get not a whole lot of anything. We can take the Rites of Initiation. That is a good way to close out the game with our Battle Screeches. It is pretty easy to splash. Just hold on to extra lands, gives us something to do. Because we're probably going to top off at 4 mana. The other option in white would be Renewed Faith. Urborg Uprising is more for grindy decks. We're not going to have enough mana for Death Grasp. I think we take Rites of Initiation. Maybe we end up Boros. Maybe we don't play it, but it seems like the highest upside card in that pack. Jeez. Alright, we're going to take another one. Well, I guess we just fully have a plan now. We're going to be basically White Weenie with Rites of Initiation as our finisher. We can take Afterlife. It's a way to kill a bomb. It's not a great removal spell, thanks to the fact that it gives our opponent a creature. Not really interested in Renewed Faith. You really want to be the cycling deck for that, and we haven't seen a single card for the cycling deck, so I think we actually ended up in a pretty good spot. The fact that we cut the 3 Battle Screeches in a row, I assume is going to mean we're just going to get White Weenie cards like crazy for the rest of the draft, which is pretty awesome. So far, we're pretty happy playing everything in our deck except maybe this Deathblade Elite. Oh, Gaia's Embrace. I don't care about Hatchling. It's just too expensive. I'm going to take... We're basically hate drafting here. Gaia's Embrace can be good. I don't think we're going to be green, though, because we have these rights. Let's take Aquamoeba. The other nice thing about being Boros is... we'll take the somewhat white card. Other nice thing about being Boros is we can pick up red removal, like those Kindles that were going around. So if we get some burn-based removal, give us a little bit of reach. That's good. Come on, Power 9 card. You can do it. You can do it, Dak. You can do it. Ugh, the opposite of Power 9 cards. It's Gigafeed. That is definitely not Power 9. Good news is we get a lot of cards that are good for our deck. We see our first cycling payoff card, which isn't for us. Lightning Rift is a good payoff, though, along with Astral Slide. And Astral Slide is something that can be scary against a bunch of tokens. We have 3 really strong options for our deck. Swords to Plowshares, just the most efficient white removal in the history of Magic. Pina Nomad Captain works really well with Battle Screeches. It attacks, makes all of our tokens 2/2s, works like an Anthem. Solitary Trooper is also a pretty good 2-drop. Has Shadow, hits for 2, so helps us get in the early beats. I think it's actually really close between Swords and Pina. As crazy as it sounds, I'm tempted to take Pina. Wild Mongrel is also very good for other decks, and Lightning Rift. Man. Yeah, we're going to take Pina. That's probably insane, and potentially even wrong, but we're going to take it. Swords to Plowshares is very good removal, but I would rather have damage-based removal if we had a choice. Now we get just the the no white pack. Alright, I mean, that's just variance. Oh, I think our opponent opened Power 9. Rare, 3 uncommons. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or I guess, oh, there's the foil too. Yeah, I think our opponent must have opened a Power 9 card. Who was that lucky person? Mr. Tomo? None of these cards do anything for us. I guess we can take Spark Spray. It cycles. We're kind of in red. That's just a weird pack. Oh dear. This is another less than ideal pack. I mean, Goblin Goon's always going to be a 6/6 for 4 in our deck, or should usually be a 6/6 for 4 in our deck, thanks to our token production. Another Afterlife. Drill Sergeant, you really got to be Goblin. Same with Pile Driver. Armadillo Cloak's great, but I think we're married to Boros at this point. Faithful is more of a cycling card for the cycling deck. I guess we can take another Afterlife. It's either that or Goblin Goon, and I'm not super excited about Goblin Goon. Alright, well, we finally got a white card. Solteri Trooper. Dreampod Druid is actually pretty sweet. If you can play like a Boggles E-type deck, and it's a pretty good piece of that. Repeal's a fine removal spell. Gamble, Dark Ritual, Storm cards. Mesmeric Fiends, okay, but yeah, we're just taking the good shadowy 2-drop. We might have to take Gilded Light. Gilded Light probably looks horrible, but this is one of our best ways to not die to Storm. And Storm is a deck that can beat our deck pretty easily. Whether we start it in the main deck or the sideboard, just giving ourselves Shroud means we don't get stormed out. And there's not really anything else for us. Radiance Judgment's fine because it cycles, but yeah, we're going to take Gilded Light. Another Gilded Light. I mean, I guess we can just take another Gilded Light. This pack has been horrible for us. I figured this pack was going to be awesome because we cut white so hard, but Goblin Commando's expensive. Prospector, you need goblins. Asuchi is like fine. I guess we're just taking another Gilded Light. We'll see if it ends up in the main deck or not. This pack has not gone as well as I had hoped it would. I guess it's Deathblade Elite. I don't know if we're going to play Deathblade Elite. It's not very good unless we have pump spells, and Rites of Initiation doesn't really count. We don't want Mana Prism. I guess we can just take another Afterlife as a removal spell. So, Reanimation spell, Hymn to Turok that we can't cast, Addle. Man, this has been a horrible pack. I don't even know if we want another Gilded Light. I guess we can take Renew. Well, alright, we'll take it. We're not losing to Storm. Not happening. Not happening. I guess we'll take this Faithful because it's white. Well, we still have plenty of cards to make this deck work, but things went pretty poorly this pack. I don't know if someone else is actually drafting White Weenie or if it was just a very weird pack for us as far as variance. But that was definitely not what we were hoping to get out of that pack. What do we even get? A couple of maybe main deck, maybe sideboard cards. We got Spark Spray, 2 Gilded Lights. Solteri Trooper is good. Pina is good. A third Afterlife, which I don't even think we can play 3. We really want more creatures in here. We don't have that many creatures in our main deck. We really need to fill out the 1, 2, 3 drop slot. That's what we're looking for in pack 3. These cards, I mean, we can play the cards that cycle. The opportunity cost is low to play cycling cards, so if we need filler, we can play them. We might play like 1 Gilded Light / Spark Spray, just because we can, but was hoping to get more out of that pack. I mean, I guess we still have a few more cards to go, but I don't even know what can table, because there wasn't anything in the pack to begin with. This is the no white pack from before. We'll take Claw of Wirewood. Hate drafting is not really a thing in leagues, but this is pretty good against Battle Screeches. Alright, we'll take Goon. I don't know if we're going to play Goon, but we can't really play anything else, and if we need filler, it could work. I guess we take Tangle. Tangle's so good. It's like a double fog. Radiance Judgment. There's a chance it ends up in the main deck. Aftershock is double red, and I think we want to avoid that. Take Aven. Yikes! That was a horrible pack. We got 2 good cards, Pina and Emissary, and a few, like, okay cards. I don't mind having Gilded Light for a certain matchup, but not what we were hoping for. And no Power 9, Hermit Druid. Almost whiffed on white cards again, but thankfully there's a Solteri Emissary. So we are getting something, and Emissary's good. I'd rather have Trooper so we don't have to spend mana, but Emissary's still fine. Looking at this pack, though, in case you're thinking about getting into some Vintage Masters drafts, Hermit Druid is basically unplayable. I'm sure there's decks where you can try to make it work, but it's not especially good. Cloud of Fairy is good in Storm. Nostalgic Dreams can also be good in Storm if you make the mana work. Counterspell, solid. Analysis, solid. Familiar can also be a key piece of Storm. We'll play this Secluded Steep if we get it back, but we need early game white creatures, so we'll take the Emissary. There's the Brain Freeze, which is the best finisher for a Storm deck. Thankfully, we got a million Gilded Lights, so Joke's on you, opponent. I guess we'll take another Battle Screech, our 4th Battle Screech. So we have 4 Lingering Souls. We might actually end up playing like Deathblade Elites and whatnot, just to have early white bodies. Like, what our deck needs to be able to do every single game is Battle Screech on 4 and flashback the Battle Screech on 4. That is what this deck is all about. Oh, man. I can't believe we're seeing like deep analysis, gush. Like, no one's drafting Storm apparently, but everyone's drafting white cards. Is that what's happening? And we get nothing? So much nothingness in this pack. Exile is just like another Afterlife. I guess we can take it. Noble Templar's too expensive. The red cards, Giant Strength would be like very slightly okay, but double red is just a tough sell. Reanimating isn't really worth it in our deck. I guess it's Exile. Alright, well there's a Phantom Nomad at least. Elephant Guide is very good. If you want to play the green enchantment deck, Elephant Guide is one of the key enchantments in that deck. +3/+3, and when the creature dies, you get a 3/3 elephant. Pretty good. We'll take Phantom Nomad. That is the kind of creature that we need. There's a Solteri Trooper. I also love seeing all these Secluded Steeps going around. There's a pretty reasonable chance that we table some or all of them, unless the cycling deck is going all in on them. Ooh, now this is actually an interesting pick. We have a 2/2 flying white creature, which helps with our curve out into Battle Screech plan. Also Solar Blast, which is just a really expensive lightning bolt that we could maybe cycle occasionally. I think we have enough janky removal, even though Solar Blast is good, and we're just going to take Gustclow Carrier to help with our curve. We're going to have to figure out what we're doing with these Afterlives. Afterlife and Spark Spray are the cards I'm really on the fence about. This pack gives us basically nothing. I don't think we can cast Aftershock. We're going to have very minimal red mana, I think. Not enough to really consistently cast double red spells, even in the mid-game. So I guess that means we just take a Gilded Light. Well, what are we bringing in from our sideboard? That's going to be the challenge. We could go down an Afterlife. There's another Exile. Prof Bolt's pretty sweet. Look at the top 4. Put one of those cards in your hand, other on the bottom. Brilliant Halo's like a really slow white rancor. We might actually play it, though. It works well with our shadow creatures, letting them hit for 3. We'll take it. There's not much else in that pack. There's Secluded Steep, number 1. I mean, we might just get like 3 Secluded Steeps. I would be pretty happy with... or not. Where's our Steep? I guess we take Renewed Faith. Are we not going to get back all the Secluded Steeps? That's sad. Oh, we're not getting back any of them. Take Breath of Life, I guess, just because it's a white card. Well, so I think our deck is good. I don't think our deck is bad, but I am a little sad that our second and third pack did not go as well as I was hoping they would. When I saw... All right, there's another Secluded Steep. When I saw our 3 Battle Screeches in a row to start, I thought we were going to have just a super nutty... Ooh, okay. So we did get our Steeps back. That's something, at least. I thought we were just going to have a super nutty mono-white deck. And I think we have, like, a solid mono-white deck, but I don't know if I would call it super nutty. It's reasonable. It's definitely reasonable. And good news is, for the non-creature cards that we're playing, we can play a lot of cycling cards, which is nice. We might have to play Deathblade Elite, even though it's not good. It can pick off 1 mana creatures, I guess. 2 mana creatures with Harrier. I guess it's kind of better with Brilliant Halo. I don't think we want 3 Afterlives. That's a lot. So looking at our deck, we're going to play all these creatures. There's no doubt about that. Bodyguards are in. Brilliant Halo, I guess, goes over here. So Bodyguards in the 1-drop slot. A actually pretty reasonable pile of 2-drops. 2 Nomads, 2 Emissaries, 2 Troopers. We have 3 Afterlives, Gustclow Carrier, Pina, bunch of Battle Screeches. So this is the main pile that we can change, are the spells. So that's what we got to figure out. So question 1 is, are we splashing these Rites of Initiation? They give us a really good way to close out the game by surprise, like even discarding 2 cards and giving everything +2/+0 is probably going to win us the game. So I like that aspect of them. it does make us play. I mean, we could play mono white and not play those cards and bring in, let's say, Deathblade Elite, as silly as that sounds, and play like a different mix of removal spells, like a Radiance Judgment and a yeah, like another cycling card, another Radiance Judgment. I don't know if I like having that many afterlives. I wish we had like a couple more creatures. I guess we have Goblin Goon if we stick in red, although that is risky. I don't know if we actually want to go that far. So this would be the mono white build with the Secluded Steeps. A decent amount of cycling. Battle Screech is our big finisher. That would be... So that's one option, is just go mono white. The other option would be to change up our removal a bit. Maybe go one Judgment. Maybe just go one Gilded Light in the main deck. Something like this. And bring in the 2 Rites of Initiation. The downside of this is we're going to have to play some number of red lands in our deck to cast Rites of Initiation. Spark Spray isn't really that exciting, in all honesty, in this deck. Is the upgrade in power worth going down a bit of consistency? What would our mana look like with 2 Rites of Initiation? Alright, so that's at 15 and 2. We know we want those Secluded Steeps. Cycling does help make up for us having probably more lands than we want. It's also possible we should just be playing 16 lands and playing one more spell. Our curve is not very high. We top out on 4. And we have a decent amount of... Why won't this move up? We have a decent amount of cheap stuff. I mean, our only 4s are Battle Screeches. So I guess that's the other consideration. I think we are going to stick with the Red Splash, play maybe 3 mountains. Alright, so I think this is our deck. The question is, do we cut one more land? We have 1, 2, 3 cycling lands. 1, 2 cycling cards. Oh man, there's an Afterlife up here too. Man, we have all 3 Afterlives. I don't know. I guess we could play an Exile over an Afterlife to diversify our removals a bit. I mean, if we were going to go to 16 lands, we would probably just cut a land and go up a Gilded Light, which we would then cycle to find lands. Sounds like a plan. That's our final challenge. Well, no Power 9, but I think our deck's a pretty good example of White Weenie Battle Screech. 16 lands is probably right. Yeah, let's go 16. Let's save it like that. Alright. Yeah. Well, we will be right back with round number 1 of our Vintage Masters Rough Drafts with Mono White Battle Screech. Sweet. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, take a second and click that like button down below. It's a great way to help support the channel for free. And you can find the next video in the playlist right here.